Yo, how you doing, my lovelies? Missed y'all. I've been away for about a week, attending the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, but now I am back from my business trip, and these dudes were waiting for me, and so you know it's going to be Crashbar season. There's just going to be a ton of videos, tons of builds, tons featuring Crashbar on the channel very, very soon, so I hope y'all have been looking forward to him. I've made quite a number of builds already, because oh man, I should have tightened this one over here with some paper, but whatever, dude. I was like devoid of any bots on my trip. I didn't take any, I mentioned the community tab. I was like, man, I should have brought some bots with me. And yeah, I'm just trying to make up for lost time. I have made a scooter centaur, a scootar. I've made a double crash bar and Scraphook alt mode combiner. This is actually V2 of the 1x1. So this is a Scraphook and a Crashbar combiner, and I've already made one. This is actually a second video, and I prefer this version much, much more. The other version actually has Scraphook as the main torso, but we swapped it out. I was on TFW actually, and I was checking out some of the builds, and I am forgetting my man's name, but there was a guy who basically did a 1x1 like this. And he used the the Crashbar torso instead of Scraphook, and so I started kind of fiddling with his build, and I made some changes, obviously, it's a bit of a remix, but yeah. So, dude, he's really cool. There's a little bit of loose bits here and there, similar to any other Hasbro bots that you're gonna buy. And what I mean by loose bits, I mean like peg to port. But for the most part, it's pretty forgivable. And if you have those little pieces of paper, those warning papers and stuff that come with the instructions, you can just pop those into the port and then squeeze the peg in, and that solves a lot of problems, right? So one of the really cool things, but also it's a negative, a plus and a minus about Crashbar, is that he has lots of pins, like pivots and things like that, and there's a lot of elements, and I guess the same goes for Scraphook as well, that could potentially affect his height. So if you look at him right now, he's the right height. He's not leaning one way or another, but dude, you got to get a lot of the little pins and pivots and stuff like that right in order to get him there. So don't feel frustrated if you feel that your toy is lopsided or something like that. So, oops. Let's take these off for a second. Yeah, as you can see, like these are not fully symmetric, and that he can get kind of loose goose like this. He can get knock knees as a result of the pivot here, which I'm thankful for, but you just got to position him and pose him right. Otherwise, he's just going to forever look like he's just not tall enough. Anyway, first world problems, friends. These I wish attached a little more securely over here, and perhaps I could even make a V2, engineer a V2 version, which I might at the end of this video. But yeah, one more time, we'll take a look at him really quick, talk about his coolness, his cool factor, and then I'm going to do the tutorial. Okay. Yeah, he looks cool when you can kind of bridge this stuff out. It makes the arm stand out a little better. That's the one thing that I don't like about what's his face? Crashbar. His arms don't have a lot of like outward bending motion. They got a lot of up and down swivels and stuff, but they don't butterfly out kind of. I don't know what's the proper way to put it, but dude, why is this? Something's not right over here. That's making it stand all like crook. So like I said, that's the only thing that I dislike. Some of the other builders, the weaponizers, modulators, like you're not going to get height discrepancies unless you don't plug something in like all the way, just because they don't have a lot of pin systems like this guy does. We're not the same, at least. And that's the only thing that's a little bit annoying. But like I said, first world problems, right? Some really cool stuff is we've expanded his chest using the saddlebags. I'm going to call them bags. The saddlebags, the accessories. And I like that a lot. I like these things cascading down. It makes it look like they're feathers or something like that. I think that's really cool. I always like the tribal look, like the feathers, indigenous look. And there's actually a Studio Series, what's his name? Cheetor, a Studio Series Cheetor that I upgraded using Paleotrex to give him some tribal chieftain armor. That's really cool, and I'm going to share that with y'all really, really soon on the channel. Pretty excited about that one. It's a little bit of a riff remix. Dude, why is he all? It's a little bit of a riff remix on the primal armor that I created with P-Trex, but dude, he's all like standing weird right now. Like, he looks good from the front, but when I look at him from the back, like, he looks like he's like, I don't know. But here, take a look at the back. I think that's pretty cool. I was able to incorporate Scraphook as the backpack, and it's not too offensive. And all these things kind of like the what is it, kibble sticking out. I don't think it's too hateful at all, actually. I think the front makes up for a lot of it. And I think he looks really good. He looks really good. And if I had strengthened the holds on the shoulders, they could kind of hold their pose a little bit better. Anyway, I'm gonna start taking this guy apart, okay? And per usual, you know, we focus on the easy bits first, and then we work our way up to the more difficult parts, and then eventually we put them all together. Well, sometimes we don't. So this part's pretty straightforward. You got one, dude, I don't know why I have like major brain fog right now. I just can't remember these guys' names, dude. Scraphook, Crashbar, geez. I think it's because of the fact that there's two of them now. And so it's just like, you know, as my mom got older, she would always mix up me and my brother's names. She'd be like, hey, Jimmy, Billy, Bobby. I mean, that's not our names, but, you know, she'd be like, she would call us each other's names and stuff. And I feel like I'm kind of getting there. I'm like, hey, Crash, Hook, blah, 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 you know, like Crash, Hook, Scrap Bar. Yeah. Anyway, the two robot legs basically plugged in on top of one another. Scraphook, Crashbar, right? And we do that for both sides. And they look good. They look good. By the way, if you hear a little zing in my voice, pep in the step, it's because it's Saturday morning. My wife's running some errands and she's going to be gone the whole day. So I'm like, toy time, and making up for lost time because of the convention, toy time. Yeah, so, and a little bit of coffee as well. And a tiny, tiny bit of kombucha. Love that stuff. Cool. Okay. Also, as I go through this, you know, I've been thinking about adding a segment to the channel where I just interview channel members. What do you think about that? I don't know if I'm fully sold on the idea or committed yet, but I've been kind of thinking about it. That, well, one, you got to be an adult. You got to be over 18. And, or if you're under 18, then you got to be on camera with your parents. And that I just basically talk to y'all and you talk to me, and then we just talk about toys, what y'all are into, you know, just like any type of conversation and interview and stuff. I thought it might be interesting because, I don't know, thought it might be interesting. Okay, so this is a saddle bit accessory and it plugs in right there and it looks really, really, really nice, especially if it's not blurry. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go, right? Yeah. That looks really nice. And it can get in like, you can put it in different angles as well. Just need to tighten that fit a little bit extra, right? So this is a bit complicated, but more so because of everything, how everything is obscured. So I'm going to remove this bit first. So this is the exhaust from Scraphook. And then you can see that this is the saddlebag. That is the Crashbar arm. And this is the Scraphook arm, and that's the little toe piece, okay? So this is the left arm, and this is the right arm? Yeah, right arm. And so what you're doing is you're taking that left arm of a Crashbar. It has so many ports. There's so many ports. There's one peg, but there's a lot of ports. And like I said, this is the, oh no, this is also the right arm. Yeah, this is, so both of them are right arms, right? And so what you're doing is you're flipping this, and then you're plugging the shoulder port into, that's a really, really tight fit, into the saddlebag. And then you're kind of angling the arm. You're not fully compressing it, but you are angling. Hey, I wonder if you can actually compress this into the fist. No, there's a little bit of clearance issues. Yeah. Well, anyway. So yeah, you're just angling it down like so. Right? And then from there, what's going to happen is, hold on, I got to consult the, what, did I do this wrong? Oh, no, I'm tripping. So you take that hole from Scraphook's arm, and you're going to plug that in right here. And this is what I'm talking about in that, like, you can't do this with it. You know what I mean? I wish you could, And that's why I have to rely on this to kind of make that pivot. Then you take that little peg and then you push this up and you make it look like it's some type of piston. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Then you take this piece, the exhaust, and then you cover all of this, and it gives it that kind of feather look. Also, because of the exhaust stuff, the look actually reminds me of Judge Dredd. You know what I'm talking about? Judge Dredd, how they have like the exhaust parts and the eagle wings and stuff. That's what it reminds me of. That's kind of cool. And then on the back of the arm over here, like I said, there's so many ports, you're just plugging in the toe bit. And you could orient this like however you want. You could hide it, you could spin it around, but the most important thing is that's where it lives. Okay. You do that same thing for the other side. Like I mentioned, you got that saddle bit, you got the arm flipped upside down, it's plugged in, and then you got the scrap hook arm plugged in. And on this one, we have the spiky tire in the back, and same thing over here. We're covering all of that thing with the Judge Dredd Eagle Wing. I like that. I like that heaps. Okay. And then this, later on, you're going to see is going to plug in like that. And it's going to plug in like that, okay? But see, the earlier I said that you can't spread the arms out, like you can't. I don't know how to what's the word to describe that, but that's why I'm using this pivot to kind of like bring the arms out because I think it looks cooler. All right. Okay, so a unique thing about this body is normally this is supposed to be closed when you're making the normal robot mode, but in this instance, yo, oh my gosh. Dude, my nails are super long. Yeah, oops. So anyway, it's coming apart, so we can do the tutorial this way. Open these up, basically. They're gonna tab it, they're gonna hook in here, so just kind of like lift them if you feel they're being a little stubborn, and then you can open them up like that. You can open them up like that. Jeez. Dude, my voice is super deep right now. I can hear it. I can hear the vibrato, the resonance, and yeah, anyway. How did I have this earlier? Man. Okay, I think it was like that, yeah. So, okay, you have the exhaust bits plugged in, and then you have those two. So they're plugged into his back. Because there's 1, 2, and then there's 3. There's a third. There's a third perpendicular peg plugged into the back. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take, this is the scrap hook body, and then normally it would be fully. Hold on. The heck? Okay, yeah. So it would be compressed like that. But, you know, we've opened it up a little bit, and dude, honestly, I'm getting confused now. I want to say it was like this, but there's not a lot of clearance there right now. Well, I mean, I must have done it like. Oh, okay. Okay. So earlier, like I said, this is like when this is all closed down. This is the car mode, right? When this is like that, right? So we open this up and we kind of like pull the legs down, but not fully. Dude, I'm flummoxing myself. But I think it's like this because if you look right here, there's a smaller lip over here versus this is a lot of plastic that you have to traverse. So that's why you need it facing this way, which will allow you to then peg it right there. You see that? And that's a nice fit. And after you do that, yeah, okay. After you do that and it's in, then you can adjust this as necessary. There you go. There you go. That's kind of cool, dude. It actually is quite flush. And I'm wondering if I can close this. Oh, that does work. That does work. Huh. Okay, so a little bit of a remix, I guess, on how the back works. I'm gonna assume. Huh? No. What am I doing? Okay. I do have to bring this down because look, when we plug this in, yeah, this needs clearance, so it needs to be out like that a little bit. Then we'll plug this one in. Man, I'm just thinking right now, when I'm gonna convert this into a 1 minute short, yo, it's gonna be hella complicated. It's gonna be hella complicated. And also, I'm from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and so and yeah, I know I mentioned that I was at a business trip, but it was a week long, so I was at a hotel. Like, I'm not gonna commute there every day, especially since I got to be there at like 7 a.m. in the morning for meetings and stuff. Oh man, there was something that I was gonna say. Oops, sorry, it's blurry. There's something I was gonna say about the Bay Area. Oh, in the Bay Area, we say hella a lot. Hella. That's our thing, and it's kind of spread to the rest of the country as well. A lot of folks say it, and for those of you who watch, I hope you understand that that's not a bad word, or at least it's not where I'm from. And for some people who are a little bit more sensitive, they say hecka. That's fine, and but I can understand that the perception that the word hell is kind of bad. It's kind of harsh. And, you know, even when I made some of the Doom Knight videos with Skullgrin, I called them like Heck Knight instead of like Hell Knight. But yeah, just heads up, you will hear me say the word hella a lot, but I don't mean anything bad by it. It just means like very. I'm just kind of like emphasizing and accentuating certain situations. Like, yo, this guy's hella sick. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying he's really sick or he's very sick. And, you know, I guess that's a lot of slang. He's not sick. He's not ill. He's a robot. He's a toy, you know, but you know, that means cool, I think, right? Whereas these kids, the kids these days say, yo, it's lit. But I think it's kind of cool too, because that's meaning it's on fire, right? And then fire, it's another idiom, not idiom, slang. But back in the day when things were cool, like when things were good, they were cool, but now it's hot, right? It's funny how words work like that. I love languages. And so, yeah, it's just always fun looking into this stuff. Like, language transforms. Yeah, very cool. Anyway, gang, hey, I hope you like this video. I hope you like the build as we fumbled together through it. I've really been enjoying Crashbar, and I can't wait to do more with this guy. If you got the funds or need a position to buy, I highly encourage you to check him out. And if you're into this type of stuff, subscribe, watch more of the channel, come back, and all that good jazz. And also Sunstreaker and Cliffjumper, get it? You know, jazz and all. Anyway, all right. Adios, skis, broskis, and sisterskis. We shall be back mañana. Bye-bye.